Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day. It is May 4th, so it's a Star Wars day, so happy Star Wars Day. Celebrating Star Wars Day today. And today is the day I finally get to do this video. I have been waiting for so long to do this and I'm so excited. It has taken me 3 years to finish these series. That's right, it has taken me exactly 3 years to finish these beauties of a series called the Lunar Chronicles. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. It's the lovely Phoebe here, and welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy your stay today for today's video. And as you guys read from the title, today I'm going to be reviewing the whole entire Lunar Chronicles book series, and I'm so excited. I have taken forever, I have literally taken forever to finish this whole entire series, which I will explain later. But first of all, I want to talk about the fact that not a lot of people talk about this book and the series like they used to back then when everyone was hyped about it. I occasionally see few, like 1 or 2 book reviews here and then, but I just want to keep talking about them. I want to keep doing different types of themed videos in my channel and in YouTube, and I want to keep, talking about them. I want people to still be hyped and I want people to still like the series. So I will be doing different types of videos, and if you guys have a suggestion and what you think I should do for another video for the Lunar Chronicles. These are my books. I put them here because I thought you guys can see them. I don't know why I thought that, but anyways, if you have any suggestions or ideas on what I can do for based off of this series, I would gladly appreciate it if you comment down below, and I'd be happy to do them. Anyways, this video will consist of 4 parts. Part 1 will be a background on how I learned about the series, or how I heard about the series, and a quick summary of the series. Part 2 will be my thoughts on the series with no spoilers. So if you haven't read the series, then you're gonna see and hear my opinions and thoughts on the series without no spoilers, because hey, if you would like to read it, then read it. And then part 3 would be my thoughts and opinions with spoilers, so I will be spoiling a few things. So if you have read it, then you are in for a treat, because I will be talking about some spoilers and my thoughts and opinions and what my mind was processing when I was reading these books. And part 4 will be my dream cast of the series, if the series turns out to be a movie or a TV franchise, which I'm praying, because I really would like to see these books come alive in the movie theater screen. I would love for it to become a movie series. That'd be great. So if there was, then I'd like to share with you guys what my dream cast would be, because I have seen some videos of your guys' dream cast of, fans of the Lunar Chronicles are like, oh, I want this girl to play Cinder. So I thought I'd give you guys my opinions on the cast. Without further ado, let's just get right into this video and let's get started. Yes, let's go! So it's currently raining, so if you guys hear thunderstorms or raindrops, then it's raining outside, so just let you guys know. So I have a very interesting background story on how I got to know about the Lunar Chronicles series. So I was in 8th grade. I signed up for a reading competition, and I have been competing in these competitions ever since I was in 4th grade. And in these competitions, the school or my librarian, or whoever, the coordinator, whoever was responsible for the competition, gave me and my group and my teammates a list of books. Within that list, you have to read all the books and know your knowledge on what happens in the story, who are the characters, and then you will answer some questions. So you will face I faced against different schools. They gave us a question, and if your school got the answer right, you get a point. And so yeah, we went against other schools, and one year we won 2nd place, and I can't remember if it was 5th or 6th grade. I think it was 6th grade. I have done these competitions when I was in 4th grade through 8th grade. So anyways, I was in 8th grade. I got the list. Cinder was on the list, and when I saw Cinder, I was like, and there's a picture too, and this was the picture, of course, the cover. And when I saw Cinder, I read the description, and I was like, it doesn't really interest me. I thought this was going to be another Twilight series, a copy of a fairy tale. I read the description, and I was like, I don't find this really interesting. I'm like, oh no, here we go. A cyborg, and I read it too. I read the description, and I'm like, a cyborg? No, I don't think it's for me. So I passed on the book, and I was like, you guys can read the book. I'm not. So I read a different other book. I didn't really find it interesting to me during that time because I was in 8th grade. So anyway, we did the competition. We didn't win, sadly. So I forgot what place we were, but yeah. So after 8th grade, I never got to hear about that book again. I was like, no thanks, I'm not interested, move on. Anyways, I graduated from 8th grade and I started high school. It was my very first day in high school. I had English first semester. When I got in English, you know, in English you have like silent reading time, which you sit down and read. That day I didn't bring a book because I wasn't thinking and I wasn't like positive that we were going to read, because I thought, you know, it's the first day, we're just going to go over, you know, the basic rules on school. Well, no, my teacher, he's like, well, we're going to have silent reading in this class, so today we are going to read. And I didn't bring my book, the book I was currently reading, because I read during the summer, and I was like, yes, I can read this in my English class. I didn't bring it that day. It was my first day, freshman year, in English class with no book to read. And so my teacher's like, all right, if you guys don't have books, I have some books in my bookshelf, and you are welcome to go and get a book and read it. So I was like, might as well go to the bookshelf and find one for today, and then tomorrow I can bring, you know, my book. So I go to his bookshelf, well go to get the bookshelf, but I waited last because I wanted to actually take my time, see which one was interesting, and like look at them. I like literally stood there for a good 3 minutes finding a book because his bookshelf was literally so boring. Like I didn't like any books, I didn't find any book that interested me. That is until I found Cinder. This book was in his bookshelf. No, this is my own copy. I'm saying that this book, literally, the book Cinder, was in his shelf. And I was like, whoa, whoa, is this the book from 8th grade from like last year? I picked it up just to pick it up. And I scanned the rest of his bookshelf and there was nothing interesting. And so I read the cover again and I was like, I don't know. Let's just give it a try because there's no other options for me. I don't find anything else interesting and this is the only book I found. So I took the book and I sat down and we read for a good 30 minutes. Let me tell you, I literally judged a book by its cover and I felt so because this is not me. I really don't judge a book by its cover, you know? I look at the book and I'm like, ooh, what's this? And then I read it and the description, if I don't like it, I move on. And I read the description, but the cover really didn't interest me that much back then. And so I wasn't really interested. So I did judge a book by its cover because when I was reading the first 4 pages, I fell in love. I liked it and I really, really did. It was like a spark moment. It was like a light bulb. It was like a moment. You know, the first good 3-4 pages, I was like, all right, this isn't that bad. But once I got into chapter 3 and chapter 4, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best book ever. Literally, I loved it. I loved the book. I read it every day. I actually forgot about the book I was in the middle of reading. I threw that and I was like, yeet, we're finishing this. We're reading this book. I read it like every day. I brought it home. His copy. This is my own copy. I got it as a gift, but freshman year he had his own copy for his classroom. I took it. I read it. I brought it home. I read it at home. I read it literally when I had free time. I read it after I did my work in class, and I loved it, and I finished it. And I finished it and I cried and I was like, oh my gosh, what happens next? And that is until when I flipped to the back, I saw that there was more and I'm like, this is a series. And I was so happy because I didn't know. I thought if this was just going to be one single book. I didn't think this was going to be a series. So when I saw the series, I was like, I have to read the second one. And thankfully, I made a friend in freshman year, like the very 3rd or 4th day of my freshman year, and I made a friend who knew about the series and who read it. And I told her, hey, do you know about this series? And she's like, yes, I do. I have the second one. I have the whole like series. Do you want the second book? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, please. And she thankfully gave me her copy to read. And when I read it, I just was interested and I was like I'm like, I love these series. I love how the second book continues to the first one. And so yeah, I literally have taken 3 years, and I have taken 3 years because I have been so busy with like my homework and grades and school. The book, I finished Cinder, which is the first book, freshman year, so like in the middle of first semester of my English class. Then after I finished Cinder, I started the second book, which was Scarlet, and I finished that also. So I finished Cinder and Scarlet my first year. And then my second year, I was in the middle of Cress. So from transitioning to freshman to sophomore in the summer, I started Cress because I asked for the book series and I got it for as a gift. And so I was reading Cress, and that really took me a good while to finish Cress. And I don't know why. And so it has taken me a good 3 years to finish these series because I have put it to the side because of my school and my work. And now that I finished, I'm so sad, and I fall in love again with the series because it's just my favorite. So now that you guys know about my background story on how I heard about it and why it has taken me literally 3 years to finish it, I am very happy to tell you guys on what the series is about for those of you who don't know what the series is. So I got the set and I'm so happy. So the first book to this series is Cinder. The second book to this series is Scarlet. The third book to this series is Cress. The last book to this series is Winter. I have done school projects on this, and my last school project for this series was for my English class. I'm gonna read to you guys what the summary I wrote about this series is. So, I made this poster representing the book of the series I'm reading right now. I am reading the Lunar Chronicles series, and I'm in the last and final book of the series called Winter. I took a photo of where the book takes place, and it takes place in a planet called Luna. And it's not the planet, it's the moon. And in New Beijing, so it's like in the Earth and the moon, and it like switches back and forth. Where it's in space, and there's a huge castle where Queen Levana rules. So far, Levana is the antagonist of the book, and she's a mean ruler who wants the throne to herself and becoming queen of Earth. Because she's already queen of the moon, she wants to be queen of the Earth as well, but she's also trying to get rid of the protagonist, Cinder. I wrote about some spoilers, which I'm not gonna read to you guys. We get to know about Cinder. He is a fugitive runaway along with Captain Thorn, when they meet Wolf, Scarlet, and Cress along their journey. This series has really got me to the edge of my seat. It's a sci-fi fairy tale with a hint of action and adventure, along with comedy, mystery, and romance, and historic periods, and it's true. It actually has a little bit of every genre that you think of. I definitely would love to see this series come to the movie screen. I rate this book 10 stars out of 10, and I would definitely recommend it to others. The picture, I'm going to show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is my school laptop, so yeah. This is, okay, let me see if I can, this is Luna, like Levana's castle, and then we have the characters Cinder and Prince Kai, Scarlet Wolf, Cress, Thorn, and the evil queen Levana. So like I said, this series is a sci-fi fairy tale action adventure romance kind of series, and it's based off of fairy tales of Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and Snow White. So I really liked it. I would recommend it, and I'm going to share you guys my thoughts and opinions, non-spoiler, so if you haven't read it, you get to hear more on what my opinions are on the series and why I love it. So that is the summary of the whole entire series, and that is my background on the Lunar Chronicles. So we are on to part 2 of the whole entire video. Like I said, this video is going to contain 4 parts. We are on to part 2 right now, and part 2 is going to be my thoughts and opinions with no spoilers. And I'm going to be very cautious and careful. I'm going to try very hard not to spoil some stuff. And for those of you who are watching this video and you have read the series and you're like, I don't want to hear you literally talk about your thoughts and opinions with no spoilers. I want to see and hear your thoughts and opinions with some spoilers and like just talk about the series. Then future Fifi, can you please tell viewers what time they can skip the video? Please and thank you.
It's Future Fifi here. Please skip to 22 minutes and 27 seconds.
Anyways, Future Fifi has told you guys what part of the video you guys should skip. So if you have read it, then you can skip this part and skip to my thoughts and opinions with spoilers, and you could go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video from there. But if you have not read the series, then I suggest that you stay so I can share with you guys and you guys can hear my thoughts and opinions without no spoilers. Here we go. So we're just going to start off with Cinder. Now, Cinder is the very first book of the Lunar Chronicles series. I very much enjoyed it. I think Marissa Meyer, who is the author, did a great job establishing the background story and the basics on who Cinder is. But Cinder is basically about a girl named Cinder, and she lives in New Beijing, and she's a mechanic. But not only she's a mechanic, she's also a cyborg too. She's a mechanic in New Beijing. She has her little like stand and store where people come to her so she can fix parts because she's a mechanic. But we also learned that World War III has happened. So this occurs after World War III, and there's an outbreak of a disease called lutomissis. I don't know how to pronounce that, but there is an outbreak of disease, and we find out that that Cinder is immune. Her leading into finding out that she's immune leads into more of a character development on who she really is and what she's actually destined to do, why she is where she is now, like, you know, mystery after mystery, and like shocking. The prince, which is Prince Kai. And we all know that Prince Kai, the people who have read the series, we all know Prince Kai is just a bean. Prince Kai one day goes to Cinder's a little, you know, stand in the town of New Beijing, and he's like, hey, here's my robot, here's my royal robot, I need you to fix it because it's broken. And Cinder was like, I'm sure I'll fix your robot for you, of course. So she fixed the prince's robot. They do develop a kind of romance relationship. But anyway, we have Queen Levana. So there's two different types of world. There are people who live in the moon and people who live in Earth. We have Earth, we have New Beijing, we have France, so the whole series is like all over the place. But so far for this book, we are taking place in New Beijing, but they do mention about Queen Levana, who's the queen of the moon, because there are lunar people who live in the moon, and lunar people have powers. They have the power to control you and manipulate you. Levana trying to, you know, slide her place into the royal monarchy of Earth, because like I said, this takes place after World War III. Like, hello, what? Because there's a lot of people who are dying. It's a good book. You can't, like, once you pick it up, you can't put it back down. Now this is the second book of the series, and it is called Scarlet. The second book is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. I don't know what to say about this. I love the whole series, you guys. So once you finish Cinder, you're done reading the first one, you have to read the second one to find out what happens to the characters in the second one. But while you're reading the second one, you are being introduced with other characters. And that's what happens for the third and the fourth one. Scarlet is a farm girl. She lives with her grandma. She's there with her like little red cloak, and she's all like, she lives in France, of course. And, you know, she takes care of her grandma's farm until one day something happens, which I can't tell you guys what happens. She runs into this guy named Wolf. Wolf gets to find out more about Scarlet and who Scarlet is, and vice versa. Scarlet gets to know about who Wolf is. They're traveling all over. They're in train stations, and they're trying to hide from someone, which I'm not going to spoil. I'm just going to say it's someone from the royal monarchy. Also, Cinder's story continues. Now that I said that Cinder is a runaway, I said it in the summary, something happens with Cinder that we find out that she's a runaway, so she's like on the loose. Her meeting another character named Captain Thorn, which Thorn is like the most wanted man. Everyone knows who he is because he steals stuff. Yeah, she meets Captain Thorn, and eventually those four characters meet. We're on to the third book, which is Cress, which is a retelling of Rapunzel. We get introduced with the character Cress. And like Cress, she's locked up in this satellite in space. And she's the one who's like looking out at the media feeds, because she works with Queen Levana until something happens where she rebels a little bit. A little spoiler, I guess. She rebels a little bit, and she actually meets and finds Cinder and Captain Thorn and Scarlet and Wolf. And at this point, Scarlet, Wolf, Cinder, and Captain Thorn are all friends. We all know them as the Ramping Crew because they're just squad goals. Cinder gets a hold of Cress, and since Cress knows a little bit more about Queen Levana, Cress gets little instructions by Queen Levana to find Cinder and the whole crew. And like I said, Cress rebels, so that gets a little bit more interesting because it uncovers more background on who Cress is, because we find out a very important thing about Cress with another character, you know, romance with Cress and Captain Thorn, which I absolutely love. Cress becomes a part of the crew too now. She's part of the squad with Captain Thorn. And so they all get apart. So Cinder and Wolf and Scarlet are apart from Thorn and Cress. So it's all, everyone's scattered in different places. So this book occurs in, you know, the moon, and then we go from the Sahara Desert, and then we go from France, and we go from everywhere. So it's like very good, so I really like this one. And then we go into the fourth and final book of the series, which is a retelling off of Snow White. We get introduced with the character Jason, Clay, and Winter. Princess Winter. I forgot what I don't remember if she has a first name. If she does, I feel so bad. In Winter, we get introduced that Winter is the stepdaughter of Queen Lavanna, and Jason is Winter's royal guard, where he keeps an eye on her. Now it's a full-on revolution. It's a full-on rebellion against the evil queen. It's all again, they all get separated again, and it's all leading up to revolution, and we learn more about who Winter is and why she is the character she is. Overall, I just really like this series so much. I love how Marissa Meyer, the author, included some similarities between the fairy tale and in the book. Cinder, in one point of the book, finds an orange car, which I kind of related to, you know, the pumpkin in Cinderella, the pumpkin carriage in Cinderella. Rapunzel as well, with the whole locked up in a tower. Cress is locked up in a moon satellite in space by herself. So I really liked how she incorporated some similarities and comparisons from the fairy tale to the book. We bounce from like different perspectives as well. We bounce from Cinder's perspective, Scarlet, and then Winter, you know, it's all not one at the same time. It all ties in together because they all meet. And that's all I could say. I was on the edge of my seat all the time. I'm like, what happens next? I need to know what happens next to this character, and why did this character do this? And it's all just like very wow. And there's a pin on Pinterest. It shows the part where Cress and Thorn and Scarlet and Wolf and Cinder meet through this like computer thing. Cress is in love with Thorn. Cress like admires Thorn. He's looking through the screen, and Cress is like hiding with hair because she has long hair. And when I read that scene, I envisioned it, and then when I was on Pinterest and I saw the pin, it was exactly on how I envisioned and read it. So I love all the characters. I have fallen in love with all the characters. Marissa Meyer, thank you so much. Like, you have gotten me obsessed with this book series that I can't stop thinking and obsessing with every day. So that is it for part 2 of my thoughts and opinions, non-spoiler. I think I have told you guys a good few 2 spoilers. Yeah, this is what the series is, and if you like it, and if you find it interesting, then I strongly suggest that you go read it. If you love these types of books in this series, then I strongly recommend it. And yeah, that is it for the non-spoiler part. So if you haven't read it, then I suggest that you go skip to the Dreamcast. So future Fifi, once again, can you tell the people who haven't read the series and who want to know what the Dreamcast is to what part they can skip onto?
Alright guys, go ahead and skip on to 30 minutes and 35 seconds if you want to keep on listening to me talk about with spoilers, which I highly think you should, because I love this. The whole segment, whole part 3 is so funny. So go ahead and watch it. So yeah.
And thank you, Future Fifi. Then I suggest you go ahead and skip to the time where Future Fifi has suggested you to skip. But if you haven't read it and you're like, I just still want to know and hear about some spoilers, then go ahead and stay on and listen to them. I'm not going to warn you, I'm going to go full on spoiler and talk about my thoughts and opinions on this series. On to part 3. Are you guys ready? Because this is my book set, and I don't know why I did that. But anyways, okay y'all, alright, okay. So welcome to the spoiler part of the video. This is a part I'm very excited to talk about because Cinder is literally a queen, okay? Her cyborg self, like, I stan her, I really do. Cinder is just so, you know, nice and sweet, and when she can be mean, she can be mean. Like, she can snap at you. When we found out that she was immune to the disease, I was like, what? Like, oh my gosh. Cinder and Kai, they are my OTP, a ship for real though. Like, they like each other. The part where Cinder returns Kai's robot, that was my favorite part. I loved it so much. Like, my babies. Emperor Kai, I should say, because Kai's dad is dead, and he's like, what, 18, 17, and Kai had the responsibility to now rule the entire New Beijing. The elevator scene, Kai was all up in Cinder's space bubble, and Cinder was literally overheating. Like, they like each other. That Kai, I'm saying from that point on the elevator, from the rest of the series, that's when Kai started liking Cinder. And when they leave the elevator, Kai gets out of the elevator and screams, I want you to be my date to the ball. in front of everyone, and Cinder's like, it's thundering outside and it's raining, so if you guys heard that, thanks for interrupting me, thunderstorm. When we found out that Cinder is Princess Celine, I literally slammed the book, and I was like, I was not expecting it. Anyways, Cinder's in jail, and that's when she found out that she's Princess Celine, which I don't think that was a good idea. And then we came to Scarlet, and the thing I didn't really like about how Scarlet started is that we started off with just Scarlet. I thought we were literally going to continue Cinder's story. Scarlet, what can I say about her? She can sometimes be sarcastic and sassy, but she can be mean sometimes too. When Scarlet met Wolf, I was like, whoa. I was kind of really sad when we found out that Scarlet's grandma was kidnapped. And because of that, you know, Wolf and Scarlet had to team up, and they were all like, let's go find my grandma. We also get introduced with Captain Thorn. Keep in mind that when Cinder met Captain Thorn, Cinder found Captain Thorn attractive, and then when Captain Thorn found Cinder and met Cinder, he thought Cinder was attractive as well. Can we just like keep that in for a moment? Because like, I know people don't ship them, and of course, you know, Thorn and Cress were meant to be together. 5% of me really like how Thorn and Cinder's relationship, like, probably a ship, and like everything just turned into friendship relationship, which I enjoyed. Cinder's and Captain Thorn's relationship is just, oh, I love them. Their friendship is just funny. Introduced with Captain Thorn, he's my favorite character. I wish he actually existed because he's a bean. When Queen Lavanna showed up, she's like, hey fam, hey Kai, let's get married. I was like, whoa sis. That's not it, chief. That was not it. So now we're to Cress. Cress is actually my favorite book out of the whole entire series, but I love all of them. But if I had to choose a favorite, it would be Cress. Okay, well, a lot happened in Cress that I really loved. I'd say I'd relate to Cress a lot because Cress is just like firecracker. Because Cress, not only she's small like me, I'm literally 5'3". I'm kind of short. Cress is short too, so I love how we connected to her whole, you know, short things. Cress is really emotional. She's crying, and then she's angry, and then she's worried. She stresses a lot. She worries a lot. She overthinks a lot, and I overthink too. I love her. I relate to her. The way she cries sometimes, I cry too. She's all emotional and sentimental, and the way how she loves Thorn. So I was kind of like shook when we got to read about how Cress was just by herself all alone in this moon satellite looking for Cinder. This is literally me. She fangirls over Captain Thorn, and she loves Thorn, and I can't blame her. I love Captain Thorn as well, but when it comes to actually real life, this is me. I'm fangirling. I look at pictures of the people I stand and love, and so I kind of relate to Cress a little bit, so I really like that. So when they met, I exactly pictured how it went. Like, there's a pin on Pinterest. It's exactly how I pictured it, and oh my gosh, I just love their relationship. Okay, so this is the pin that I was talking about, where, you know, this is Cinder, Captain Thorn, Wolf is back there, and Scarlet. This is exactly how I pictured. When Thorn went to go rescue Cress, Thorn didn't really like Cress in the beginning, but I think spending time with Cress made him like Cress more. When they found civilization in the Sahara Desert, when they had to fake marriage to, you know, get food and water and shelter, I was like, okay, Cress, this is your opportunity, you know, make yourself look like you're capable of being with Thorn. Thorn was just, Thorn just flirts with everyone. When we found out that Cress was Dr. Erlin's daughter, I did not see that coming as well. When they got married, I was all, I was so upset, and I'm like, that's supposed to be Cinder, not you, Lavanna. Okay, Winter, whoa. I was actually kind of sad because I was like, this is the final book. Everything's gonna, you know, draw to conclusions. I think this is why it took a while to finish, because I didn't want it to end. But I really didn't quite understand who Winter really was, because we know that, you know, Winter has like this illness. I don't know what it is. Winter all of a sudden screams like a wolf or something. Winter was controlling Scarlet, and Scarlet was like, you're killing, while Winter is like talking about the walls bleeding, and like she's like screaming as a wolf and stuff. I don't know, and that kind of really confused me, because I don't know who she is. Like, she's a Lunar, I assume. I don't know. But another part that literally got me on the edge of my seat, and I remember I was in class reading this part, was when Queen Lavanna ordered Jason to kill Winter, and I was like, no, you can't do that because you already developed feelings for Winter, and you like her and you love her, so what are you gonna do? You're stuck. Because Queen Lavanna's like, if you don't kill Winter, then your family's dead. And so he's all like, well, I don't want my family to die. I don't want Winter to die, so what am I gonna do? When Jason faked Winter's death, I was like, he's smart. This smart. Then we get into the final few chapters of the book when I started to get more emotional. Cinder goes and finds Queen Lavanna. It's her moment. She's ready. She's been waiting for this whole entire moment to kick Lavanna's butt. So she goes into the throne room. She sees Thorn. Thorn is tied up, and like I think he's in a ledge because he's like literally gonna jump. And she's all like, Thorn. And the first thing, the first thing Thorn says is like, well, it took you long enough. That kind of got me annoyed because I'm like, come on, Cinder's out here fighting, okay, and she's gonna save you, and the first thing you say was, well, it took you long enough. And she's like, well, I'm glad to see you're still alive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, their sarcasm going back and forth, and the scene was hilarious. And then when Cinder is now getting coronated as queen, like officially coronated as queen, Cinder is like in her little like not dressing room, but her little room where she's trying on her dress with Aiko. And then all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door, and everyone's there, the Rampion crew, like a whole family reunion. And I really liked that, and it was my favorite part because it made me all happy and emotional. Like, after everything that they have been through, they're finally there. They have reached their goal. They are there. Cinder is getting named as queen, and they're all there in her dress, and they're all like, well, we're here. And what I really didn't like about it, like the way Marissa Meyer wrote it, it was like, oh, they arrived, they brought cake, they had their little mini cake party, but that's it. And I was expecting more of all like, we did it, you know, saying their emotion and their thought and their feeling and saying congratulations to Cinder, but no, they didn't. They just stood there and ate cake. And so I was kind of like, what? So I thought that this book was gonna end with Cinder and Kai getting married. But they didn't. And it ended with Cinder getting coronated as queen, as Luna. She's ruling how she's ruling. She's making her rule. She's saying, I want peace. I want alliance. I want nothing but peace, no war, nothing. We're going to fix this outbreak of disease because the disease was still there happening. And so she's like, we're going to find a cure and I want it fixed. I thought Cinder and Kai were going to get married. And when I read their little scene at the end, I was like,
so they're not gonna get married? I was actually really sad. Anyways.
they're in the castle and Kai is still there. And she's all by herself in the throne room with her dress, you know, because she was coronated, and she's sitting there by herself alone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and there was like, what, three pages left? And I'm like, the end of the book is already here and they're not getting married. What's happening? After everything that's happened, Kai and Cinder are finally reunited, and I was so happy because this was their moment. This is my ship's moment. Apart from Cress and Thorn, I love Cinder and Kai, Cater and Cresswell. They're my two top favorites. Don't argue with me, okay? Then, and I'm going to read you this because I love it. Kai does this.
Her heart flipped. Kai's gaze danced back to her, then he was smiling in a way that was both bashful and confident. The same smile he'd given her the day they met in the market. After a long, awkward moment, he laughed. You really can't blush, can't you? Referring back to the elevator scene. And oh my god. That wasn't nice, Cinder said. Only if you think I didn't mean it. Her brow twitched. Here, I have something for you.
And Cinder said, it
better not be an engagement ring. And I'm like,
oh, it's happening, guys.
It's happening. And then he paused. If that thought hadn't occurred to him, and he was regretting it. And I was like,
this is it. This is it. This is a moment I have been waiting for.
Or gloves, added Cinder. That didn't work out too well last time.
So I was like, all right. Kai's gonna propose to her homegirl, and Cinder's not asking for a proposal. Anyways,
grinning, Kai took a step closer to her and dropped to one knee.
And when I read, I was like, this is it. This is it. This is happening. Oh my gosh, stay calm.
Her eyes widened. Cinder, he said. Her heart thumped. Wait, wait, she said. She said, wait. And he said, I've been waiting a long time to give this to you. With an expression as serious as politics, he pulled his hand from behind his back. In it was cupped a small metal foot, frayed wire sticking up from the cavity and the joints packed with grease.
My boy Kai really did that to me. Oh my, I was played. I was like this. I was like so upset and kind of like frazzled a little bit. I was like, he did not just do this to me. Marissa Meyer especially did not do this to me. Why? What? She played with my emotions and it's not cool. But anyways, I really thought he was actually going to propose. So, continuing.
Are you terribly disappointed? Because I'm sure Luna has some great jewelry stores if you wanted me to. That's what he said. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. But then Cinder was like, shut up. Just stop talking. I was trying to get rid of this for a while, but somehow it comes back to me and you brought it back to me.
Anyways, guys, at some point, he puts the foot, he like kneels and puts the foot like Cinderella with the glass slipper. And Cinder's like, what are you doing? Stand up, stop kneeling. They have their little like inside jokes and stuff. And so I'm like, all right, guys, they're not getting married. They're just, and I accepted it. So I was like, you know what? That's it. That's the end. Said, that really triggered me. He said,
Cinder, I believe you would make a great ruler. I believe this decision is proof of that. He hesitated, but I also know you never wanted to be queen. Not really. Cinder had never told him that, and she wondered if it had been obvious the whole entire time. But I have to ask, Kai hesitated, if you think someday you might consider being an empress. Cinder forced herself to hold his gaze and to swallow the light-hearted joke that rose to the tip of her tongue. He wasn't teasing her about engagement rings and dance lessons. This was a real question from a real emperor. I would consider it, she said, then took the first few breaths. Someday. He grinned, returned full force and full of relief.
Alright, y'all, this is literally the last paragraph of the book. I'm gonna read it to you because I can't.
He put an arm around her, and Cinder couldn't smother her own smile as she leaned against him, staring at Artemisia Lake and the white city and planet Earth surrounding the stars. She spun the cumbersome, hateful foot in her fingers. Ever since she could remember it, it was a burden. A constant reminder that she was worthless and she was unimportant. She was nothing but a cyborg, so she held the foot over the water and let go. And they lived happily ever after. The end.
I cried and I'm like, well, what do I do now? Because I love these series so much and I finished the book. And so that concludes throughout the whole entire series a roller coaster of emotions. I cried, I laughed, I loved it. There were some parts where I just didn't like some people and some characters and I was like, Queen Lavanna, why'd you do this? Just the whole adventure and the similarities and comparisons with the fairy tales and the sarcasm too, and the action and the fighting. It's just, and the leader and the powerfulness within Cinder, it's just so fun to read. And it's just so, and I actually felt a connection with the Cress and the character. So once you read, you find someone who you connect to, and that's really fun and great that I really like. Overall, I'm just so happy. It makes me all bubbly. I love everyone in the characters, the whole ramping crew. That is it for part 3 for all my thoughts and opinions with spoilers. So we are on to now the last and final part of this video. I really put some thoughts into my list on who I would like to see play the Ramping Crew and the whole Lunar Chronicles series. I'm not a professional casting director. I don't know the whole process of, finding who's an exact fit for a character. This is just my opinions on who I think would probably play a really good, character in the series. So again, we all have different opinions, so if you don't agree, then this is just my opinion. Don't take it seriously, you know, and if you disagree, then okay, and if you agree, then that'd be great, you know, we both agree. So first off is Cinder. I really had a tough time figuring out who would play Cinder if the Lunar Chronicles was a movie or series. I personally hope and pray and wish that the series would be a movie. Cinder, I wasn't really sure who. At first I was like, ooh, I'd play Cinder. Yeah, right, that'd probably be a joke. I would definitely do it. I mean, if you can't find anyone, then I'd definitely be up to play Cinder. But that's just a joke. The person who I found who I think would play a really good Cinder, I picked Paris Barrales or Baralek. I really don't know how to say her last name. Probably don't know who she is, but this is her. I feel like she'd be a good Cinder. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I look at her, I think of Cinder because, you know, Cinder has, you know, the whole mix of being European and her tan skin and, you know, her hair being brown and black. So I think she'd be a really good actress to play as Cinder. Seen her play a few good roles, but overall I just think she's really pretty and I think she'd be a good match to play Cinder. So yeah. Second character is our Prince/Emperor Kai. I literally knew who was gonna play Prince Kai because I've seen this person before, and keep in mind, I'm trying to cast everyone young. When I thought of who is my dream cast, who would I want to play Prince Kai, without a doubt, I thought of Ryan K. Potter. This is Ryan Potter. You probably might know him from the show Titans. He plays Beast Boy. He was also in this Nickelodeon show called Super Ninjas, and I remember when it came out because I was literally like a little girl. And so when I saw Ryan, I was like, without a doubt, I would love to see Ryan play as Emperor Kai and Prince Kai. So yes, I don't think this is something to argue, but the person who I thought that would be a great Cress would be, her name is Kiernan Shipka. I don't know what her name, that's how her name, I guess, I don't know. But this is her. I don't know if I can find a really good picture of her, but this is her. She's in this show called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I don't know if you guys know her, but that's her. Her hair's short and blonde like Cress. I feel like she has the features of Cress. Here's another one. I'm not sure if that's gonna help, but you know, this is like her with plans. Anyway, here's another picture. I don't know. Her pictures aren't really that good, but I don't know. This is who I thought should be a good person to play as Cress. Here's another picture of her with her co-star Ross Lynch, and then that brings me to Thorne. And so looking at them, I was like, maybe Ross Lynch could be a good Captain Thorne, but like I said, I want someone, you know, to play the part great. I don't think Ross Lynch could be a good Captain Thorne. No hate on Ross Lynch. I love Ross Lynch. His acting is amazing. He played Jeffrey Dahmer in one of the series. I feel like it won't fit Ross Lynch. This is Ross Lynch. I don't think Captain Thorne would be a good fit for him. So when I saw this person, I was like, I don't know. I had a little trouble finding who Captain Thorne would be. So then I found Daniel Sharman. This is him, and I'm like, oh, he could probably be a good Captain Thorne. I feel like he could and wouldn't be a good Captain Thorne. I don't know, but this is the guy who I thought I'd like to see, just to give it a shot. For Scarlet's girl called Holland Roden, and she's also redhead too, because Scarlet's redhead. Could be a good Scarlet to play. Now the next character is Wolf, and then I found this guy named Matthew Daddario, and he actually looks more like of a wolf to me. Yeah, yes, actually, yes. So this is him. Yes, okay. I think I made my decision. I feel like I'd cast Matthew Daddario as Wolf. So our next character that I'm casting, or dream casting, is Winter. And when I saw Winter, I'm like, I think I know who I'd want Winter to be, and that is Zendaya. You guys probably know who Zendaya is, but this is Zendaya. And when I saw her, I'm like, she's perfect for Winter, okay? This is her and her hair. If she were to play Winter, this is Zendaya. And I was like, Zendaya is perfect. She's absolutely so beautiful. This is Winter. This is our Winter. This is my Winter, actually. If she was casted, this is who I'd want to cast to play Winter. Now the next character is beloved Jason. Jason would be Austin Butler, currently known as Vanessa Hudgens' boyfriend. Next character I would like to talk about on who I'd dreamcast is Aiko. So we all know Aiko is a fun, bubbly person. She's all, you know, happy. I want to play Aiko. This is Amandla Stenberg. Amandla Steinberg. You might know her from Everything, The Hate You Give, and her most famous role, Rue from the Hunger Games. And I've seen her act in some of the movies, and she's really good. So I feel like, especially with this hairstyle, she'd do a good job playing Aiko. Okay, so then we reached to like a few 3 characters. I thought about Peony because Peony was a major character in the book. I think Lana Condor would be a really good Peony. She's from To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I love her. She's so nice, and I feel like she could bring Peony's character too. So we are on to the next character, and I actually thought of someone to cast as Audrey, which is Cinder's stepmom, or the mom Cinder works for and lives under her roof, which is Audrey, mostly known as the stepmother from like Cinderella. I was actually thinking of Constance Wu. I know Constance Wu from Crazy Rich Asians in the show Fresh Off the Boat on ABC. I watch her show Fresh Off the Boat, and she's hilarious. She's strict, and I feel like she could bring a good, you know, characterization and good, you know, acting to her role if she is Audrey. Okay, so we're down to the last character, that is Queen Lavanna. So now I'm kind of like iffy about who I'd like to see play Queen Lavanna, because there are some parts where Queen Lavanna is redhead, or this is how Queen Lavanna looks. You know, Queen Lavanna is young, so I don't know really. Again, I'm not professional. I don't know, and some of you might not agree, but this is who I think, and this is why I think she'd be a good job. So the person I think that would play a really good job as Queen Lavanna is Lana Parrilla. You know her from Once Upon a Time. She plays the evil queen on Once Upon a Time, and I feel like she'd be great at the role, because not only has she experience of playing the evil queen, and it's like a connection from the evil queen to the evil queen, but her role, like her acting as playing evil, is just so good. And if Lavanna is redhead, then put on a red wig or dye her hair. I think her as Lavanna would be great. But in the book, we read that Lavanna uses her glamour to make herself look young and pretty. So I think we could like use someone else, to cast someone else, so when she uses her glamour, and then when she doesn't use her glamour, she can be her, but like old, good, you know, voice, and you know, yelling, and her being the evil queen, and her telling people to kill, her telling her servants to go kill them. It's really good, and so I associate, you know, Lana with the evil queen, and I think it's perfect. And what a coincidence. That's who I think would do a good job as the evil queen. So that is it for the whole entire video, you guys. That is it for my reviews and my thoughts and my opinions and my dreamcast. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you really loved this video and you enjoyed me showing you guys my dreamcast and sharing my opinions and thoughts on this book, please give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below what your favorite part is, what your favorite book is. Comment down below anything that has to do with the Lunar Chronicles. I would love to talk with you. And if you want to talk with me, you know, more and in depth about chapters and books, then follow me on Instagram. My name would be here down below, and DM me saying, oh, I seen your video and I would like to talk to you more. And subscribe now that you're here, because I'm doing more Lunar Chronicles videos, and I just had so much fun. Again, this took me literally forever to finish the series, and I'm so glad I finally got to do it now and share it with you guys. If you guys have any other ideas or suggestions on what videos I should do that's based off of the Lunar Chronicles, that'd be great. Comment down below. I'm currently doing the 30-day Lunar Chronicles challenge, which is exciting. I'm not doing it on Instagram. I'm doing it through YouTube /video/vlog style. So that's interesting. I like to switch things up a bit. And if you are new again, please subscribe. I would love for you to join the family. We have a good time here. For now, this is the only Lunar Chronicles video I have for you guys so far. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and until next time, bye!